its mark beyond south of Karnataka. Experts point out that maybe few seats in the north, but their assertions are far bigger. Can it make gain from the turncoats? At least 20 such turncoats, and some of them even have a winnability factors, as the experts suggest. We talk about all these factors, the political discourse, the nuance, the caste and the subcaste, and much more on News at the Center tonight.
People are looking up the Bharatiya Janata Party to be really different, have a very clear-cut clarity, strategy, so that people can look up much more confident in more better way. So the party took a decision to have new faces. In some of the
72 new faces.
Yeah, 72 new faces.
I ask you, as a citizen of India, Mr. Prime Minister Modi, wasn't Mr. Ishwarappa sacked as a minister because a BJP leader and worker Santosh Patel committed suicide?
Well, let's take all the questions pertaining to the Battle of Karnataka and who's going to win it to our guests who are joining us on the broadcast. We have Mr. Madhu N. Rao, the Karnataka BJP spokesperson, Lavanya Balal from the Congress Party, T.R. Prasad Gaura, the JDS leader, and Mr. Sumant Sriraman is also with us on the show. Madhu N. Rao, sir, beginning the discussion with you, Mr. Rao. A lot has been said about Karnataka elections, and it's true that before the elections, after the ticket distribution really happens, some rebellions, mutiny, crossover from one party to another, that's not unusual. But when former Deputy Chief Minister exits, and these are these high-profile exits that we're talking about, it directly concerns the Lingayat vote in the state, which is very, very critical for any political party. It does point out, sir, that all is not well within the BJP. Mr. Rao.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think we've been very vocal on these things. What are those? We are banking on our development, we are banking on our performance, and also our social re-engineering factors. Having said so, now if you were to come to Mr. Shettar, let me address it directly. If you are pointing questions of as to Mr. Shettar is that, I think I need to, a few things I need to mention it out. He was the same person. He was a sun man for so many years. He has been a CM. He has been a revenue minister. He has been a leader of opposition for the BJP, and of all, when he is leaving, you know what he told? Just 2 days before he left BJP, quote unquote, I'll just say this: Congress is in ICU in Karnataka. In whole of India, the Congress is decimated. DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah are finishing the party, and the same person, after a few days, goes back to the Congress and bats for the Congress. It's really, it is opportunistic politics. It's nothing to do with ideological thought process for Mr. Shettar. And if you're talking about Lingayats, I really don't understand the Congress party. It was the same Congress party way back in 2018 who wanted to bring in some sort of a disturbance, and they wanted to, in fact, create a new religion whatsoever, which backfired to them.
Yeah.
At that point of time, I remember October 2018, when DK Shivakumar, with folded hands, he told, we did a very wrong thing, and it was a blunder from our part. So therefore, to say that Lingayats, it is an issue, no, absolutely not. Lingayats have been voting for us right from 1990 onwards, when they demeaned and insulted Virendra Patil. We know how Mr. Rajiv Gandhi treated them. So therefore, in fact, we have been very happy about our performance. Look at the reservation aspects.
No, sir, I want to come back to the defections. You put your point across that how the BJP is confident, and you're confident that you're going to hold on to those votes. And I'm sure that as a political person, you know the importance of Lingayat votes. But I want to understand from you that with all these defections, there's also Mr. Ishwarappa. There was a call that the Prime Minister made to Mr. Ishwarappa, and he said that he stands firm with the party. the entire Lingayat factor and whether any other high-profile exit is going to happen from the party is something that has worried the High Command as well. But it is a known fact, and I'm sure the other panelists on the broadcast, especially Mr. Sumansi Raman, might want to come in on this, that it can be a benefit, say, for a party like JDS. About 20 turncoats have been fielded for them, and some of them may even win in the north of the Karnataka. That could directly affect the Congress and the BJP. So for you to say, no, these defections are not going to affect us, I don't think that holds true for the BJP. Mr. Raman, what's your view on that?
No, most certainly these defections will impact the BJP. The question is to what extent would that impact be? Because northern Karnataka is a kind of a stronghold for BJP, and therefore they would have a certain measure of comfort in northern Karnataka. But if these defections start to hurt them, even in 20, 25, 30 seats, it could be a big problem for BJP. As far as JDS is concerned, they only have pockets of influence in northern Karnataka. Okay. They are a South Karnataka party. So I can't see the JDS making huge inroads into northern Karnataka. It's not very, very unlikely to happen. But the Congress is certainly poised to benefit. And increasingly, it is starting to look like a wave election. What till about 2 weeks ago was seeming to be a tight contest, slowly it is moving away from the BJP at the moment. And I think that if...
And Mr. Raman, while you say that, these are the visuals we are running on the screen on the right hand side. These are the live visuals of a roadshow that Mr. JP Nadda is conducting in Bidar, Karnataka. So clearly the top brass of the BJP is on the ground. You'll also have the Prime Minister campaigning in the state.
No, they will fight. There is no doubt that they will fight. But the point is, which way is the wind blowing? And it's not just from the exit of Mr. Shettar or Mr. Laxman Savadi. The general trend is going away from the BJP in Karnataka.
And why is that so? And why is that so in your understanding that the general trend is going away from the BJP and you're calling it a wave election?
I think the delivery of the last 4 years has not been up to the mark, and this image of corruption, 40% Sarkara, has sort of had an impact on the ground. The other important, when you have contractors committing suicide and all that, it creates an extremely negative perception for the ruling party.
All right,
Plus, of course, Mr. Bommai is not exactly the most inspiring.
I'll come to you, Madhuji. I'll come to you. I'll give you the opportunity to respond. I want to bring in Lavanya into the discussion. Lavanya, as I pointed out, there's a roadshow by Mr. JP Nadda. The Modi factor, do you think that could be decisive in Karnataka election? It has been the factor for the BJP for them to win multiple state elections. Brand Narendra Modi has not faded. It has only become stronger with time. Though local issues hold a lot of importance, but the kind of sway Prime Minister, his own personality has had, and the impact on multiple state elections, do you believe that can be the story in Karnataka as well? BJP thinks so.
Good evening, Anusha. No, it's not this time in Karnataka. If you look at our Prime Minister's recent visits to Karnataka, there's a huge amount of backlash. People are questioning his silence. He was going through multiple crises in the last 4 years. There was a radio silence from the Prime Minister. He did not acknowledge the problems this was facing, and that was the question everybody was facing. And as far as Mr. Nadda is concerned, right now the most unpopular person in Karnataka is Mr. JP Nadda, after a speech the other day where he threatened, saying, if the BJP doesn't win in Karnataka, you will not be in the graces of the Prime Minister. And that has made him very, very unpopular. And as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he's a Prime Minister, come on. I know he's a star campaigner for BJP, but today he had called up Ishwarappa, the minister who was forced to resign because of corruption. And he's telling him not to rebel, and he's trying to pacify him and all of that. See, it may be good within the party premises, perfect. But when it became public knowledge, right, the people are questioning now. The Prime Minister who famously said, na khaunga, na khane dunga, is right now talking to a leader who was sacked because of corruption charges, because a contractor committed suicide, right? And Ishwarappa ji was forced to resign. So what is a message that our Prime Minister is giving to the people of Karnataka? So no, it will not, the brand Modi ji will not work as much as it has worked in other states. It will not work in Karnataka this time, especially
Madhu and Rao, you've heard from from the expert and also from the Congress party that this entire charge of corruption, 40% corruption, and how that's problematic, is something that perhaps is resonating on the ground, and it could cost the BJP, and perhaps the national leadership and perhaps that narrative may not be able to save the fortune for the BJP.
If I may comment,
Sure.
just give me a minute's time, please.
Sure.
You know what? These people are talking about corruption. I heard even Mr. Suman Siraman speaking about corruption. I do not know really as to how much he knows about what's happening in Karnataka, though. But let me tell you this, for the sake of repetition, because I think the Congress has a deaf ears. Kempanna in July 2022 had specifically told I would give all the documents to the union government officials. Union government officials came. He did not provide any documentation. He kept on his rant and telling that corruption is there against one of our ministers, Mr. Muniratna. Muniratna filed a defamation case and also a suit against him in the magistrate court, and summons were issued against Kempanna, who was the mouthpiece of the Congress, and against 18 others. They did not come and iota of evidence. Then what happened? Summons were issued. They did not come. NBW was issued. They were absconding. Then they got arrested. They did not after they got arrested, they did not give any evidence. Now, this is the Congress party for you. None of the citizens of the state have given any complaint against any authorities. Now, this is point number one. So let rest aside, because the Congress toolkit seems to have not working on this aspect. Second issue, Santosh Patil, who they are claiming that he died, let me tell you, he apparently was working in the constituency of Congress MLA Laxman Savadi. Believe you me, there is no document to prove, no document on record where his name was appearing in the government records. And the Congress party wants payment to be done to Santosh Patil, whose name is not appearing in the books. And if you pay him money, then
Lavanya,
he will come and question as to why did you pay. This is what the Congress party has been doing from time immemorial.
But sir, if you believe that the corruption charge will not stick, what is the reason that the BJP has fielded so many new faces? Then you should have banked upon your old faces and the veterans within the party.
This is a generational shift. Yes, we have taken some strong steps in order to give tickets to our karyakartas. Unlike the Congress party or the JDS, what's wrong in that? We have taken that step and we have been giving tickets to them. And of course, there are stalwarts who are still there to support us and to help us win these elections. I don't see nothing wrong in that. But having said so, we are very proud of our reservation things. Where was Congress party for all these years for the reservation? Did they hike it? They did not do it. Now of all, the Congress party is saying that the reservation will be taken off and will be provided.
I'll take that question to other political party as well. Yes.
Please tell us from which part of the category would you take the reservation and provide it to the Muslims? We are telling that
I want to bring in Mr. T.R. Prasad Gowda into the discussion as well. He's been patiently waiting. Lavanya, 30 seconds to you, then I'll bring in the JDS. A quick response. Lavanya, 30 seconds.
The BJP guy takes the lion's share of the time in the debates.
Nobody's taking lion's share. You are getting all your time. No, one at a time. Lavanya right now. Lavanya, please go ahead. Lavanya, go ahead.
Corruption charges multiple times. There was no response from the Prime Minister's office. Neither was a response from the
Court of Justice.
Madhuji, one at a time. Let's respect the civility of the debate. Lavanya.
And that's when the Congress started speaking up on behalf of the Contractors Association, as is the duty of the opposition party. When he talks about Santosh Patil, who committed suicide, he says he worked in a Congress MLA's constituency. In his last letter, the death note, he has written that he was asked to work first and then he'll be paid. And let me make it very clear, if you go to Pratap Simha, the BJP MP, his Twitter feed, you can still see when Modi ji was visiting Mysore, he says, I got the work done. I told the contractors to get the work done and then they will be paid later without a tender process in place. So BJP has this habit of making the contractors work without the tender process in place, which is a violation of every law in India.
I want to bring in Mr. T.R. Prasad Gowda into the discussion. Then my colleague Harish Upadhyay is also with us on the broadcast. I quickly want to take in a word from him as well. Mr. Gowda, the party which has traditionally dominated only a certain region, the south of Karnataka, are you confident you can expand in other parts of the state? And more importantly, a lot of turncoats have found place within your party, which many call the classic JDS style. Will that help you in the run-up to the elections? Or you'd be able to form the government on your own? That's the narrative you're adopting?
Madam, this 2023 elections are unique and favorable situations for the JDS. Not only in South Karnataka, This time we are going to perform better, compared to previous elections. In North Karnataka also, we have a very good response from the people of North Karnataka. People are welcoming our former Chief Minister Kumaraswamy wholeheartedly. Wherever we go, lakhs and lakhs of people are gathering, and we are confident this time in North Karnataka we are going to win a very good number of MLAs from North Karnataka as well, and we are confident this time with the blessings of the 6.5 crores of Karnataka, the regional party, our party will going to form the government with simple majority, madam.
You're saying you're going to form the government with simple majority.
And,
a lot of
also, why I'm telling with these words confidently, because the way our Kumaraswamy, former Chief Minister of Karnataka, worked for the people, welfare of the people of Karnataka. Yeah, he worked, and he is going before the people with clean hand. It doesn't have any corruption charges, don't have anything. He waived off the farmers' loan to the extent of 27,000 crores when he was Chief Minister for a tenure of 14 months. With all, even though he had lot of problem both from the partners, from the Congress partners, still is able to do the needful to the people of.
Let's see, sir, how that really turns out to be. You are clearly benefiting from the turncoats, and I'm sure Mr. Sumansi Raman agrees with that. Mr. Raman, there are 2 points that I've heard from most of the political spokespersons who are with us on the broadcast. One is an issue of reservation and the writing off of farmers' loans in the state of Karnataka. Like many other states in the country, it is an agrarian economy in many ways, and that's a very, very important issue. Drought has been a major issue in the state of Karnataka. How has the BJP government fared on these metrics when we come to the reservation bit, writing of the loans and their development schemes? Because one of the key things that Mr. Madhu and Rao has been talking about is we've done development on the ground. Is there development that can be seen?
There are 2 things here. One is on the reservation. Clearly, it is a politically opportunistic attempt. First of all, this reservation exceeds the 50% quota, so it is very likely going to be struck down by the courts. And I think the BJP knows that also, because it exceeds the 50% quota of the Indira Sawhney judgment.
Yeah.
The second thing is, taking away the existing reservation from the Muslims on the eve of the election. It tells you a story. It tells you that you're not really very confident of facing this election on the development plan. So you not only have to give extra reservation to Lingayats and Vokaligas, but you also have to take away reservation, which is a very, very unusual thing. You don't see this in many states.
So can I take that point to the BJP? I find it interesting. Madhuji, why did you have to take reservation from one particular community? Are you not confident?
Because anyway they've exceeded 50%. So
anyways, you've exceeded the ceiling of Indira Sawhney set by the Supreme Court.
Well, I think let me, Mr. Sumansi Raman, kindly listen to me. I have a very bad throat. Kindly give me some time.
Ji.
It was in 1990, Chinnappa Reddy Commission, which told that Muslims must be given some percentage of reservation as a backward class, and that was implemented by Mr. Deve Gowda government in 1995. And this issue of reservation, which was given to Muslims, was to give in effect to Article 16.4 and 15.4 of the Constitution for the socially and economically backward classes. Are Muslims socially and backward classes in terms? They are not. They are in terms of religion. So this is a religion-based reservation which was done blatantly in violation of the Constitution principles. Therefore, we told it is not correct. Therefore, we removed it.
Why did it? Sir, okay, let me ask that question. I mean, the timing of the move of the government is questionable here, sir. Madhuji.
Well. It's not about the timing. We had given a lot of time for understanding the provisions, and we came with a conclusion, yes, this is wrong, and we have done it. Well, if someone has a issue with regard to the timing, well, be it as it may, I can't help it. But then the fact of the matter remains, whether we do it now or 3 years back or 4 years later, the fact of the matter remains, it was unconstitutional. We have removed it. Let it go before the court.
Sumanji, make your point, then I'll bring in Lavanya into the discussion. Sumanji, your point. Sumanji.
No, the bottom line is very clear. This is to say that, look, the whole story of, of putting, quote unquote, putting Muslims in their place. I think that again that they are having to hark back on the Hindutva hardline stance. That is why you saw in the last 1 year this hijab issue and so on. So this whole talk
No,
of
Madhuji, let him finish the point. No, one at a
development,
time, one at
we
a
want
time,
to
one
go
at a
on
time.
development is, look, the Prime Minister doesn't even mention the Chief Minister by name. I mean, what can be more of an insult to a sitting Chief Minister, incumbent Chief Minister, when his own party boss and the Prime Minister does not even mention him by name?
All right, a quick response from the BJP, then I have to take the other two guests. I have very limited time on the show. Madhu and Rao, Mr. Raman, allow Madhu to make a point. Madhu and Rao, please. Yeah.
I think Mr. Sumansi Raman perhaps is acting more of a spokesperson than a Congress party, but nevertheless, having listened to him, I am really not understanding as to what Sumansi Raman is talking about. Let me be very clear on the reservation of Muslims and hijab he was mentioning. Hijab was not taken up by our government. 5 ladies who went to this High Court and the issue spiraled up to Supreme Court. We did not even in regard to the Azan, we did not take up the issue. Tipu Sultan issue, we did not take up the issue. It was raked up with the Congress party. We were only
I have last 2 minutes on the show, Mr.
reacting to it. So therefore, to say that we were responsible for that, it's entirely wrong.
I give the last 2 minutes to the tone of communal politics in the state of Karnataka. Lavanya, communal issues have dominated the politics of Karnataka and the political discourse in the state. Do you think they're going to be decisive in any way?
Absolutely not. BJP wanted to make it the deciding issues in Karnataka. It didn't happen. It didn't work out because people are very intelligent in Karnataka. And Mr. Rao is forgetting that the Udupi MLA who started the issue, Raghupati Bhatt, who's been denied a ticket, was a BJP MLA when the issue started about the hijab. He seems to forget that.
He did not start. He did not start.
One at a time, sir. One at a time. One at a time. Mr. Rao, one at a time. Lavanya ji.
The writing on the wall is very clear. The BJP has failed to deliver in terms of administration and development, and they're going to lose the elections. And that is why they're coming up with all of these issues which will divide the society in Karnataka. Unfortunate, Karnataka deserves better.
Mr. Gaura, coming to you for the final word. When it comes to these deeply polarizing issues, do you think this narrative will work in Karnataka? Because the politics of the state has been predominantly driven by the caste factors, local issues, and this narrative coming in from, at the national level, or perhaps a sweeping narrative, has not had much impact on Karnataka politics. It's largely driven by local and, semi-local issues.
Yes, madam, you are right. This 2023 elections doesn't have much impact by national BJP national leaders and Prime Minister also, Modi or Amit Shah, doesn't have much impact because people of Karnataka have understood very well that their impact, coming here and doing canvassing to influence the people of Karnataka. The people are understood. Okay. People have already understood. They have failed in all angles because last occasions when they come, people really waiting. They will deliver something. Now they have failed to deliver everything.
Let's see, sir. Not only that, this narrative, this particular narrative coming in from the JDS plus the Congress party, the development has not happened. Whether it's something that's going to resonate with the electorate of Karnataka today, the last day of filing nominations. I thank you all, Mr. Madhu and Rao, Lavanya Balal, T.R. Prasad Gaura, and Mr. Sumansi Raman. Thank you all for joining us on the broadcast. Well, we also have a special guest joining us on the broadcast today. We have Mr. K.S. Ishwarappa, the former Deputy Chief Minister for the state of Karnataka, senior BJP leader. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us. Thank you for sparing your time. मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहूंगी कि आज प्रधानमंत्री ने आपको खुद कॉल किया था. आपकी क्या बातचीत हुई और क्या संदेश दिया प्रधानमंत्री ने?
पहले प्रधानमंत्री ने मुझे एक अभिनंदन दिया. मुझे बहुत आश्चर्य भी होगा और खुशी भी हो गया क्योंकि कर्नाटक में हमारा राष्ट्रीय नेता माननीय नड्डा जी और धर्मेंद्र प्रधान और संतोष जी तीनों मिलाकर मुझे फोन किया. आप चुनाव पॉलिटिक्स से निवृत्ति होना चाहिए ऐसा बोला. 100% मैं एक्सेप्ट करके 10 मिनट में मेरा लेटर भेज दिया. उनको भी बहुत खुशी हो गया माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, माननीय जगदीश शेट्टर रेजिग्नेशन बीजेपी के देकर कांग्रेस गया. ये मुझे बहुत पेन हो गया. इसलिए उनको मैं एक पब्लिक लेटर लिखा जी, बाहर पब्लिक को बहिरंग पत्र. उसमें मैं पूछा क्योंकि आपको सभी दिया है भाजपा ने, 6 टाइम आप एमएलए है, विविध डिपार्टमेंट से मंत्री भी है, और स्टेट बीजेपी प्रेसिडेंट था, स्पीकर था, सीएम था, और
जी।
क्या देना है आपको? इतना देने के बाद भी आप बीजेपी को रेसिग्नेशन कर कर कांग्रेस क्यों गया? ये सभी मुझे बहुत पेन हो गया है पूछा।
जी जी
तो
सर, आपके
हाँ,
बेटे को भी
ये सभी सुनकर
जी
ये सभी सुनकर प्राइम मिनिस्टर को खुशी होकर मुझे आज अभिनंदन।
सर, आपके बेटे को भी टिकट नहीं दिया गया है। बहुत सारे ऐसे कयास लगाए जा रहे थे कि आपके बेटे को टिकट दे दिया जाएगा भारतीय जनता पार्टी से, मगर वो भी नहीं हुआ। क्या आप उससे निराश हैं?
नहीं, सबको किसको टिकट देने से पार्टी को और स्टेट को अच्छा होता है, वो ऊपर वाला हमारे स्टेट नेशनल लीडर्स फाइनल करता है। किसको देना नहीं देना उसको हमें तो सिर्फ पूछना है, देने वाला नेशनल लीडर्स है। इसके बारे में क्यों नहीं दिया उसके पूछने का कोई हक नहीं है। लेकिन कर्नाटक में एक मुझे 5 बार एमएलए करने का एक कार्यकर्ता को मिला है, हम सबको बहुत खुशी है।
सर, बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं, आपने नाम भी लिया, जगदीश शेट्टर हुआ, लक्ष्मण सवदी हुआ, ये हैवीवेट्स थे, बड़े बड़े नेता थे ये बीजेपी के। इन्होंने पार्टी छोड़ दी है, वो आज कांग्रेस में चले गए हैं। बहुत सारे ऐसे छोटे छोटे नेता हैं जो जेडीएस में भी चले गए हैं। क्या भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इनसे राजनीतिक आहत होगा?
सिर्फ भाजपा का नुकसान जगदीश शेट्टर से हुआ
जी।
लक्ष्मण सवदी बाहर से आया था, बाहर गया है, और दूसरा कोई बीजेपी का छोड़कर नहीं गया है। जगदीश शेट्टर को भी हम क्यों गया पूछा तो उनके पास रिप्लाई नहीं। कोई व्यक्ति गया तो भी भाजपा का कोई नुकसान नहीं है। हम कर्नाटक में डेफिनेटली बीजेपी को अधिकार में हम लाएंगे।
सर, कांग्रेस और जेडीएस को सबसे ज्यादा इससे फायदा हुआ है। बड़े बड़े नाम हैं जो कांग्रेस में चले गए हैं, जेडीएस में भी चले गए हैं। जैसे मैंने आपसे बोला, बहुत सारे ऐसे लोगों को टिकट भी दे दी गई है। क्या कांग्रेस और जेडीएस को इससे सीधे सीधे फायदा होगा? क्योंकि लिंगायत वोट बैंक की भी बात की जा रही है यहाँ
पर। नहीं, जेडीएस को हो या कांग्रेस को हो, कैंडिडेट ही नहीं है, इसलिए भाजपा का कौन कौन वेकेंट होता है उन सबको वो लेता है। कांग्रेस का भी यही हालत है और जेडीएस को भी यही हालत है, उनको कैंडिडेट ही नहीं। भाजपा बहुत बलिष्ठ हो गया है। इधर किसको हम एक आदमी को दे सकता है, दूसरा थोड़ा कौन गुस्सा में रहता है वो जाता है। हमें कोई भी नुकसान नहीं भाजपा का कर्नाटक के लिए।
कांग्रेस पार्टी बार बार कह रही है सर कि भाजपा की सरकार प्रदेश में भ्रष्ट है। 40% किकबैक्स या करप्शन का ये जो एलिगेशन लगा है, ये बार बार है जो बोला जा रहा है कांग्रेस पार्टी से। आपको लगता है कर्नाटका की जनता ये बात मानेगी कि भाजपा की सरकार फेल हुई है या करप्शन है, जो सारी बातें कांग्रेस पार्टी कर रही है?
कर्नाटक के जनता कौन सा चुनाव हो गया, सभी चुनाव में भाजपा को ही जीता है। लेकिन कांग्रेस 40% बोलता है। एक ही एग्जाम्पल देने के लिए वो सफल नहीं है। हम डायरेक्टली बोल रहे हैं, वो अर्कावती केस में सिद्धरामैया 800 करोड़ 800 एकर्स का लूट किया है, वो 8000 करोड़ अमाउंट लूट किया है। हम डायरेक्टली हम तो डायरेक्टली उनको डॉक्यूमेंट समेत दिया है, वो रिप्लाई नहीं दे रहा है। सिर्फ 40% को ऐसा बोलता है। ये कि एग्जाम्पल हमें नहीं दे रहा है कांग्रेस वाले।
सर, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी और उनका करिश्मा, उनका पॉलिटिकल अपील जो है वो कई राज्यों की सरकारों में, चुनावों में काफी महत्वपूर्ण, काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रहा है। मोदी फैक्टर कर्नाटका इलेक्शंस में कितना अहम रहेगा, कितना जरूरी रहेगा?
100% हमें बहुत प्रॉफिट होता है, क्योंकि नरेंद्र मोदी विश्व नेता है। कर्नाटक में नरेंद्र मोदी को देवता स्वरूप है ऐसा लोग मान रहा है। इसलिए सभी चुनाव में हमें जीत तो आ रहा है। मोदी का नाम भी हमें बहुत अच्छा है, और कर्नाटक में संगठन भी अच्छा है, और डेवलपमेंट वर्क भी बहुत अच्छा है। 100% कर्नाटक में भाजपा का पूर्ण बहुमत आकर सरकार हम बनाते हैं।
Mr. Ishwarappa, sir, thank you so much for your time. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमें समय देने के लिए. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Well, that was Mr. KS Ishwarappa, the tall leader of the BJP and someone who has announced his retirement from electoral politics, however, continues to remain within the BJP, standing firm with the party in the run-up to the elections. From Karnataka, shifting our focus to a piece of breaking news coming. And this is coming via way of sources. CBI has summoned the former J&K Governor Satyapal Malik to seek clarification in two cases in which Mr. Malik had alleged that he was offered a 300 crore bribe for clearing files related to Chenab Valley power projects and Reliance General Insurance Company. He has further alleged that Ram Madhav came to meet him for the clearance of that file. Sources further say that clarification is needed. There is no case against Mr. Satyapal Malik. There is no FIR per se. But these are clarifications that the CBI demands. Ashish Mehershi with us on the broadcast. Ashish, help us understand this move of CBI.
So, obviously, we can't ignore the recent interview by Satyapal Malik to various media organizations where he had alleged that the Prime Minister is not very averse to the corruption. And then he had also talked about on how, the entire Pulwama thing happened and he was asked to keep quiet. So we can't obviously ignore this. But at the same time, one has to understand the fact that there is an old case. The CBI has registered an FIR where, if you remember Satyapal Malik, the former governor of Jammu and Kashmir, he had alleged that he was offered huge amount, almost 300 crore rupees of bribe. And basically, this money was basically offered on the for clearance of two files. One was related to the Chenab Valley power project, and the other one was basically related to certain insurance company, which is named as Reliance. So Reliance Insurance Company. So these were basically the allegations. The CBI decided to register an FIR, and based on that, obviously, since he was one of the complainants or someone who had basically alleged that he was offered huge amount of money and he occupied the senior most position in Jammu and Kashmir. So what we have been told is that he doesn't have to appear before the CBI in CBI office, but at the guest house on Akbar Road in New Delhi.
Ashish Mehershi getting us all the details. This is a big development. There's no FIR yet. He's not an accused in any case, but the CBI wants to seek clarification. We'll keep tracking that story. Well, terror has once again gripped the valley and 5 soldiers have lost their life in the Poonch attack. We talk about that attack, the investigation which is underway on News Epicenter. That's our focus right now.
बड़ी दर्दनाक घटना है, लेकिन अभी उन लोगों को मार तो गिराया जाएगा जल्द, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। सेना और जो सुरक्षा बल हैं अपने अपने काम पर लगे हुए हैं।
क्यों भारत माँ के वीर सपूतों के ऊपर इस तरह के कायर लोग हमला कर देते हैं? मैं मांग करता हूँ कि सरकार जैश जैसे जो अपनी जिम्मेवारी ले रहा है इस हमले की, उसके ऊपर कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाए।
Many of them are carrying this, printed placard saying Pakistan nursery of terrorism, and we're seeing others also raising slogans against militancy in Kashmir Valley.
And terror has once again gripped the valley after 5 soldiers were killed in Poonch during a routine counter-terror patrol. An NIA team along with Jammu and Kashmir DGP Dilbagh Singh inspected the attack site earlier today. According to intelligence sources, several suspects have been detained by the security forces for questioning. Top intelligence sources say that there were about 5 suspected attackers or terrorists, out of which 3 are foreign terrorists and 2 could be locals. It is further indicated that the attack was a very well-planned one, aimed to disrupt the G20 meeting in Srinagar next month. Combing operations are underway to hunt down the attackers, but the terrain around the attack site is dense forest and a network of caves, which gives advantage to such guerrilla tactics. The number of terror incidents in Jammu and Kashmir may have come down, but this attack shows that the nexus is still active, and when it comes to arms, recruitment and movement, they have supply. The big question we ask is, was this a targeted strike to spread fear ahead of G20 summit? Are these actions of an envious neighbor who's known for creating trouble in the valley?
In the deadliest strike since Pulwama, 5 Jawans were martyred in a terror ambush in the Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. Their families are devastated distraught and inconsolable. Martyr Lance Naik Devashish Biswal of Odisha's Algam district leaves behind elderly parents, young wife and a 7-month-old daughter. He laid down his life on Thursday as terrorists attacked an army vehicle while it was moving from Bimbar Gully to Sangyot in Poonch district. Taking advantage of dense forest and low visibility in the area, terrorists ambushed the army truck with Martyr Kulwant Singh on board. He was a resident of Chadik village in Moga. His father was also martyred in Kargil. He leaves behind a 3-month-old son and a 1.5-year-old daughter. He had been married for just 2 years. He had taken leave just a month back, recalls his friends and neighbors.
ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਦੁੱਖ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਨਾਲ ਦਾ ਸਾਥੀ ਫੌਜੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਧਰਤੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ ਕਰਤਾ
शहीद हुआ है उसके परिवार को जो भी उसकी रक्षा की जाए जो भी उसकी सहायता की जाए और जो जिसने भी ये काम किया उसको शहीद किया उनको मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया जाए
Martyr Constable Har Krishna Singh's family is in complete shock. He was only 28 years old. He travelled in the ill-fated vehicle which engulfed in flame in Jammu's Poonch district after it was fired upon by unidentified terrorists around 3 p.m. yesterday.
ਸਾਡਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਕੱਲ ਪੁੰਛ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਉਗਰਵਾਦੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਹਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਤੇ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ ਦੇਸ਼ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ
Martyr Havildar Mandeep Singh and Sepoy Sevak Singh were among the 5 personnel of the Rashtriya Rifles unit deployed for counter-terrorist operations in the area. 39-year-old Mandeep Singh was a resident of Doraha town in Ludhiana. Singh is survived by his mother, wife, 9-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter.
फार्मर्स की माता जी हैं जी उसकी घरवाली है 2 बच्चे हैं और भाई हैं 2 मोटा मोटा उन्होंने बताया कि ऐसे ऐसे करके आईडी ब्लास्ट हुआ है आईडी ब्लास्ट के कारण गाड़ी को नुकसान हुआ गाड़ी में कोई पता नहीं क्या कौन सी चीज़ पड़ी थी जिसको आग लगी
Massive manhunt is on to locate the perpetrators even as the dense jungles are making the operations of forces difficult. Families mourn loss of the Jawans martyred in Poonch. They say their sacrifice should not go in vain. Bureau Inputs, CNN News 18.
Well, this dastardly attack that has claimed the life of our Jawans, a sacrifice that will not go in vain. This is the long fight that India continues to fight in Jammu and Kashmir. The special status has been done away with. Terror attacks have come down, but that network will take some more time to be completely disrupted and disbanded. Well, joining us on the broadcast is our experts who will tell us more about the Poonch attack, what does it entail and what is the kind of messaging these terror elements are trying to put. Lieutenant General Dr. S.L. Narasimhan, Mr. S.P. Vaid, the former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Tarakanta, the former Director of the National Security Council Secretariat, are joining us on the broadcast. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for sparing time. Lieutenant General Narasimhan, coming to you first, sir. This terror attack and the timing of it, few weeks before the G20. What is the sort of messaging these elements are trying to put out? And more importantly, the modus operandi, the manner in which it has happened and the details that have come out in the public domain so far. What do they tell you about the attackers? What's your assessment, sir?
Firstly, thank you for having me on this show. And secondly, my heartfelt condolences to the families of the martyrs who lost their lives yesterday in this dastardly attack. 2 things. One is, there was a ceasefire that was actually existing between India and Pakistan for a while. That seems to be, that that seems to have been put in the back burner with this particular incident. Second thing is that because yesterday I was told that the visibility was poor, there was thundering and lightning happening in that area.
Yeah.
That also would have probably increased the intensity of the damage that occurred to that vehicle and the people who are traveling in it. That is the second thing. Third thing is your reference to the G20 meeting that is going to be held in Srinagar sometime later. That, yes, there may be some aim to probably derail that meeting, but I think nobody should have any doubt that none of these is going to none of this is going to affect our resolution to hold these meetings there wherever it has been scheduled. The fourth thing is that the way the attack went, firing was reported. Also, a grenade has been thrown inside the vehicle is what is being told. So if that is the case, then it is a very well planned kind of an ambush which had taken place, which is not new in mountainous terrain in counter-insurgency operations, which is quite the way the attack is generally done. This is something that we need to be careful about, and we can be rest assured the security forces will be careful in handling the issues from here onwards, and also I'm sure the Indian Army will ensure that the loss of lives do not go in vain.
Mr. S.P. Ved, we spoke yesterday as well when this unfortunate news had come out. I was talking earlier with Mr. Narasimhan about the messaging that these terror elements are trying to put out, whether it's the overground workers, the underground workers, this terror nexus. It has been a very tedious task for the security forces to break down this network. To what extent we've been successful and what is still more left to do? Pakistan is in a bad shape economically and politically, yet they continue to have, the terror elements continue to have cross-border support.
See, the issue is this. This is a low-cost option which any country can actually follow, because if you go for an all-out offensive, all-out kind of a conflict with another country, it is going to be extremely expensive. This is a low-cost option. That is one. Two, insurgencies all over the world, like this, what is happening, and the terrorist kind of actions that are happening in J&K, all over the world, they take a lot of resources. They take a lot of time and effort by the security forces to neutralize them over a period of time. It takes very long time. Look at our Northeast, has taken from 1956 onward, it's still going on in some form. Many countries have suffered this. So what I'm trying to convey is, this is a very, like you said, it is a very, very tedious process. It is an extremely slow, grinding kind of operation. As one figure, it takes 1,800 odd man hours to locate a terrorist. Far less neutralizing him subsequently. So it is that kind of effort that is required to be put in to neutralize this kind of a warfare. So what you're saying is right. It is slow. It is grinding. It is really, really demanding on the security forces. When I say security forces, it is the army, it is the police, everybody else put together. So it is going to be a very long drawn effort to control this particular kind of operation.
Dr. Tara Kartha, coming to you, various experts pointed out yesterday that because the security is very tight in the valley right now, in Kashmir right now, a lot of terror groups, their networks are shifting their base to Jammu and targeting sensitive regions. They're wanting to expand their base and their foothold in various regions of Jammu. Should the agencies be allowed?
The thing is like this.
Would definitely have.
Yes, Dr. Tara, yes.
Yeah, I mean, given that the G20 meeting is coming up, the intel agencies as well as SF, everybody must be already on their toes. I think every single input would be carefully sifted through. And we saw actually since January, this area has become active. So there has been, though the level of, incidents are still low, they're still very, nowhere comparable to what it was in the worst years. But this area is definitely getting active. What the problem I find is, is that we might, we go through the cycle, right? They attack and then we go through, like as General Narasimhan said, we go through the counterterrorism, all that, and it takes lives. Our people's lives are being lost. But internationally, there is a sense that, this is what Pakistan does. That has to stop. We have to, however much we are shouting at the top of our voices, this is a terrorist infested country, this is a country which has been doing this all this while, people have somehow become accustomed to the fact that this is how Pakistan is expected to behave. I don't know how we got here. It is unacceptable. A country which harbors such kind of operations is completely unacceptable. That is the bottom line. And especially when it uses terrorism so-called terrorism from India to justify its internal politics. You saw that also happening. When you had the DG ISI and people are not briefing the Chief Justice of Pakistan.
A crucial G20 meeting is scheduled in Srinagar. Do you think that this entire terror attack and its shadows are going to affect the perception of the world? Because India has been trying to make efforts on the ground for development, for taking normalcy, as much as to the widest possible extent. All of those efforts on the ground in the public discourse, how would they be affected by this attack?
I think this is, relatively speaking, this is very far away from Srinagar, right? It is nowhere, anywhere part of that area at all.
Yeah, but in terms of creating perception.
However, a fact that we have been suffering this for years, so that everybody knows. So I don't think it will adversely affect the G20 meeting at all. In that sense, unless they will continue to try, you have to expect that this will continue. This kind of incidents, they're going to try every target of opportunity that they get.
Lieutenant General Narasimhan, unfortunately, as Dr. Tara pointed out, this is not the last attack that has happened. Our Jawans have been sacrificing their lives for decades to keep the Valley, Jammu and Kashmir region safe and secure. I asked this question once again on the broadcast today, to what extent we've been successful, and perhaps this is the last leg of the battle and how difficult it's going to be.
You see, insurgency in Kashmir has been like a sine curve. It keeps going up and down. There is a period which was the peak, then it came down, it again went up. This is going on. Ultimately, what we need to understand is the solution to this has to be political. So that political thing, Pakistan has to play a major role in coming more than halfway to do this, because they are the ones who are actually doing these kind of activities. So till the time that political solution comes, this is going to go on in some form or the other. The intensity may go up, intensity may come down, but we need to be prepared for a long drawn kind of a thing, and that is going to continue, and we need to handle this. That is the way I see it.
Yeah, that's the way you see it. Mr. S.P. Ved, when it comes to the overground workers and the local support to these terror elements, this has been an uncomfortable reality, which has been always an open secret. And in fact, in the latest crackdown, a lot of overground workers and underground workers, or both of these elements were targeted. To what extent Indian authorities have been successfully able to disseminate or perhaps completely kill this network that has existed? I'm talking about the local support and to what extent it has been disbanded.
See, it has been weakened quite a bit. The security forces which have been operating there since 1989 have got almost the entire area mapped out, and we exactly know who are the overground workers, who are the underground workers. That is very clearly known. That is the reason you find the incident happened yesterday, and within a period of 24 hours, you are able to round up people who are suspects in this particular heinous crime. So that is a very well done thing. But the issue is that you also should probably notice that the support for this kind of a movement has come down quite a bit. If you take your mind back to 2010-11, there are a lot of these stone throwing incidents, etc., which happened because of the overground workers coming up and supporting this movement. That is no more there. So similarly, you will find the effectiveness of the overground workers is also reduced considerably. So I would say that to a major extent, this has been controlled. But I would say the underlying elements will continue to be there till the time the solution is found.
Till a solution is found. And what that solution could look like?
That solution, I told you, is a political solution that we need to be working at. At the moment, that is not possible till the time Pakistan stops this terror activities, which has been told very clearly by our foreign minister and the others. The issue is very simple. You can't have terror on one side and talks on the other side. This is not going to work. So we will continue to fight this terrorism, and when Pakistan stops this effort at terrorism, then the talks can commence. Then we can work out some kind of solution to this entire problem. At the moment, I don't see that happening till the time the terror activities are on.
You don't see that happening. I have last 1 minute. Dr. Tara, coming to you and taking in last minute. To what extent can international pressure really help India? You rightly pointed out that there is a certain degree of brazenness or shamelessness when it comes to Pakistan and the kind of terror activities they breed on their own soil. The world knows about it and does nothing. But in the recent times, this has been bothering the world as well, with Pakistan facing international sanctions. International pressure, can it help come to the aid and help of India?
Oh, at the moment, if the international community decides to put pressure, it can do a lot. I mean, the main thing is that we are seeing is kind of the IMF loan, which is being withheld. But of course, that is for a different set of reasons, nothing to do with this, because Pakistan economy is in such bad shape. But you're also seeing, this cycle of the US walking away and then coming back. This is very difficult to fathom why they do that. There was a clear break from Pakistan, but they come back to Pakistan when they need it. China should. In fact, China has a problem with terrorism on its own soil. But overall, yes, the international community has a huge role to play. At this particular point, absolutely, yes.
Dr. Tara, Mr. S.P. Vaid, Lieutenant General Narasimhan, thank you all for joining us on the broadcast. And as I said in the beginning, 5 precious lives have been lost. This is a sacrifice that will not go in vain. And the work of development, restoring peace and normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir will continue to go on. While we track that and much more, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Epicenter. Thank you so much for watching.
Critically injured, but the whole focus is now on the search operation. Several teams of Indian Army as well as the police are on the hunt, and they are looking for those people who came and launched this particular attack. This is very unfortunate. We have lost 5 of our jawans, and as you rightly mentioned, Army Chief has basically briefed Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh about the particular incident. In fact, senior officers are very much in touch with the commanders there, and as I mentioned earlier, commanders are on the ground. They are ascertaining the facts, because still we don't know as to they'll launch grenade attack or not, or some other thing was used in this particular attack. But yes, a terror organization has come out and has taken the responsibility of this particular attack. But we'll get to know about the facts of this matter in some time from now, Anjali.
Right, Akash, please stay with us. We also have Ishan Wani with us. Ishan, what is the current situation in Poonch district right now?
The road which goes to that area has been closed. The police has given alternate routes for the people to commute. This indicates that the fact that the and large go through that area, check the difficult terrain is there. Then there is a bad weather conditions are prevalent, which can give an edge to the other side. That is why they have to be extra vigilant and careful. We must also point out that the fact that when last time, when around this area, which is 1 kilometer away, we are told by our sources, when Army lost more than 5 personnel in that particular attack, once the attack was carried out, Army immediately rushed in additional troops, and those additional troops also came under fire. That is where that is where security forces or Army might not want to go in, launch an attack, but carefully, tactfully use their resources and launch this particular attack, where they could be able to either nab them down or neutralize those militants who are behind this particular attack. As I was pointing out earlier, that there is a large presence or a small presence of these militant outfits in Poonch Rajouri belt, because they have been on and off carrying out attacks, be it on civilians. Last time we saw Dangri, where multiple people lost their lives. There were IEDs placed inside the houses. And then we also saw before that, as I was pointing out, that there was an attack which took place in the same area, same belt, where more than 6 soldiers lost their lives, including 2 junior commissioned officers. So that is a matter of concern for the security forces, but they have been cracking down on those elements who have been previously involved in such incidents or could still have links with those who are providing them overground support, because OGWs are the people who logistics and daily routine or route, because most of the it's mostly possible that those who are behind this attack could be from outside India. could be from Pakistan. And that is why security forces will be extra vigilant to not only trap them down, but also bring down the whole network which is behind this particular attack. But the LOC is not far away. We don't yet know whether it's a freshly infiltrated group or it was a group which was operational in that part. Because recently, when these attacks have taken place, and PAFF, was a shadow organization of Jaish and Lashkar combined, have done these attacks and then disappeared. They haven't come out, doing attacks after, few days or few months, but they have taken their own time and then planned and carried out attacks. So security forces might be very well aware about the fact. But if you look at the vehicle, there is also a possibility. We don't know yet what the investigation is looking like, but yes, there is also a possibility because we have seen sticky bombs being placed. How did the vehicle caught fire? The army for now says that it was a grenade. Which resulted in catching of fire of the vehicle. There were bullets which were fired at them. There is also, in the video where we can hear bullet sounds. That is speculative fire that the army does when they want to locate the enemy, when they want to locate the person who has fired at it. But there was no response, it seems like, from the militant side, which means that they wanted to carry out this attack and ambush and then run away from the area. That has been how they have been operating largely in Poonch, Rajouri, Doda, and all these areas in recent past. But yes, there has been a large crackdown, and I will also, as part of its investigation, visit the spot and try to figure out that, the sort of way in which this attack was carried out.
Arunima, did we have any intel input before this attack actually took place?
So the analysis in the security grid.
The last 1 year, for 52 weeks, we've been #1 across time bands, across different data points, across different viewer segments. The fact that for the last entire year we have dominated the ratings, there is no parallel to this. 1 year of non-stop, undefeated, unbeaten #1. I think it's a great testament to the young team here at CNN News 18. This is great validation for us and for this young team here to continue on this path and to continue bringing you stories that we believe are making a difference to your lives.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. At the top of this edition, ladies and gentlemen, this Friday, we would like to wholeheartedly thank our viewers for this continued dominance for one whole year. Thank you very, very much for your patronage, and we'll continue to endeavor to try and chart new courses and also set new dimensions and always take the right stand for you and also for Bharat. And in that endeavor, tonight we're doing something special. This concept of Ask Me Anything has become quite popular on social media. We said, why only social media platforms? Let's do it live on television, and let's do it with somebody in government who's not only your minister, not only our minister, but he's also tasked with keeping our data safe. He's tasked with also improving the skill levels of our country and also working towards creating more jobs. He's wearing a lot of hats, but he's somebody who's always up for a challenge and ready to take your questions and interact with you. So what we're going to do tonight, as we say namaste and a heartfelt thank you to Union Minister of State for Entrepreneurship, Skill Development, Electronics and Technology, Rajiv Chandrasekharji, who's joining us from Bengaluru live. Namaste, sir. Thank you very, very much for doing this. And I have to say,
thank you, Anand.
I have to say that tell our viewers that he is live. This is nothing is recorded, it's unfiltered, but we would like you to